Hey, I'm Tommy.
I'm Eddie. We're the Skit guys, and we wanted to encourage you today.
Yeah, we want to encourage you today with the book of Esther, the entire story. It's fantastic. It's found in the Old Testament. It's a story of a dedicated woman in a difficult situation.
I like the way you did that. Keep going. I'm listening.
Esther is queen to King Xerxes, all right? And there's a bad guy named Haman who wants to kill all of the Israelites.
I just love all the names. Xerxes, Haman, Esther.
They're very cool. When Esther's uncle Mordecai finds out about
Mordecai, keep going. These names are great.
It's Mordecai Good Guy. That's how you can remember him. When Mordecai finds out, he goes to Esther and says, hey, you've got to do something about this. You've got to help us. And Esther says, what can I do? I'm just the queen. And Mordecai says this in Esther 4:14. He says, who's to say that you're not in this position for such a time as this? Esther, through a couple of deliciously cooked meals, ends up saving all of the Israelites.
And isn't that the moral of the story? The more you cook, the more you save counties and countries and kingdoms.
That's not the moral of the story at all. The moral of the story is, who's to say that you, my friend, are not in the situation you're in right now for such a time as this?
Just repeat that. For such a time as this. Say it. For such a time as this. Maybe even write it down, because God is calling you to do something. Maybe you've been ignoring it. Maybe you've no, there's somebody better, more spiritual. But for such a time as this, during the times that we've been living out, there's no better time in the present than to unleash that dream that God has given you, to go ahead and step in faith in whatever God is calling you to do. And maybe you just needed that little push to hear God's word when it says, for such a time as this. It's not just 2,000 years ago. It's about right now. Let's go.
Hey, be encouraged.